Have you ever been so happy that you forgot to notice how the other person was feeling? In the latest episode of Emmerdale, Joe Tate makes what seems like a small mistake, one that could genuinely crack his relationship with Dawn Fletcher. It all starts off pretty lightly. Joe sits down with Lucas to watch Back to the Future, excitedly calling it the greatest film of all time. Dawn and Gabby watch on, chatting about the likable qualities Joe keeps carefully tucked away. Then Graham Foster walks in and mentions that Joe used to watch the same film when he was 14, back when he was pretty lonely. In that moment, we get an important psychological glimpse. Joe isn't naturally carefree. He used to be a kid who felt out of place, finding comfort in movies. And that detail makes Joe's reaction later much easier to understand. When Dawn comes back and quietly says she thinks she might be pregnant, no test yet, just a late period, Joe freezes for a few seconds. Then he bursts with emotion. He throws his arms around her and yells with joy. To him, it's amazing news. But Dawn's eyes drift to the side. Her happiness doesn't match his. This is where the emotional mismatch becomes clear. Joe reacts on pure instinct, straight from the heart. For someone who once felt lonely and craved a sense of belonging, the idea of having a child with the Tate name, a Tate mine, is overwhelming in the most intense way. He even admits to Graham that it's a complete surprise, especially since he's been taking immunosuppressants. A happy accident, as he puts it. But Dawn is in a different place. She isn't sure she's pregnant, and she isn't sure she even wants another child. Meanwhile, Joe has already moved several steps ahead, not only emotionally, but in his actions. He tells Graham, and to Joe, that feels normal. He says he tells his father figure everything. The problem is, Dawn wasn't ready to share that with anyone. When she finds out Joe has already told Graham, the disappointment is obvious. Not because she hates Graham, but because she feels like control over her own story has been taken away. For a woman who's confused, uncertain about her body, and unsure about what she wants, having that information spread too early can feel like enormous pressure. Joe probably didn't mean to hurt her, but he put his own feelings ahead of Dawn's. And that's the real blunder here. The mistake isn't just what he said, but the lack of sensitivity behind it. Personally, I don't think Joe is a bad guy. If anything, he's trying to become a better man, a better father. He says he loves being a stepdad more than he ever expected, and that shows growth. But growing up isn't only about wanting another child. It's also about knowing when to slow down, listen, and respect the emotional pace of the person you love. So the question now is, has Joe's rush created a real distance between him and Dawn? Or is this simply a painful but necessary lesson that could help them understand each other more deeply? If Joe can take a step back, apologize the right way, and make Dawn feel like she still has a choice, rather than being swept up in his excitement, then this relationship still has a chance. But if he keeps seeing everything through the lens of a Tate mine and forgets ours, the crack between them might grow deeper than he realizes. And that's what makes this episode worth watching. Not the pregnancy shock itself, but the way each person handles it.